Hey, welcome to EP Live for January 19th, 2018. And you know what? We're kind of celebrating January 19th, 2018. We've got a couple of huge projects with guests from each of those projects in the house with us today. So it's going to be pretty awesome. We're talking about Mutant Football League today, and we're also talking about Heel Kick. And we've got lots of very cool, creative people to talk with, and also some stuff to review and some things to reflect on. It's going to be a fun episode of EP Live. Thank you all for joining us. This is a live show. If you're catching this as an archive, thank you for tuning in. That's awesome. But we do this show live, and we have people running us alongside of the program, watching us, and involved in our chat and asking us questions and comments. The one thing that I'm going to ask, and I say this quite a bit, is just put comments or question in all caps so that they're easier to see and they stand out a little bit. But let's get right to it. We've got a lot of stuff to get into today. We're going to talk about Mutant Football League, and I'm joined by two very special guests. Tim Kitzrow is a voice artist who is best known as the voice of sports games like NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, NHL Hits, and MLB Slugfest. Boom, shakalaka. Tim Kitzrow is here with us. And Michael Mendheim is a video game journeyman. He has done a ton of work in the video game industry, worked with Chip Hawkins for a long time at Electronic Arts and also at 3DO. Worked on the original Mutant League football and hockey at EA, and it's crazy that they just sort of didn't do anything with them. But we're going to get to the reasons why that's all changed now with Michael in a second. But also worked on Def Jam Icon, also worked at Sunsoft. So we've got veterans in the house. Tim and Mike, it's great to have you guys here. How are you doing today?
Awesome. It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, from downtown Chicago, it's Mutant Football League launch day, and we are partying like it was 1993 all over again.
That is amazing. How do we get an autograph through Skype? Is there some way that you can send me your autograph, Tim? I've been a fan of yours forever. I think anybody that's ever walked into an arcade has been a fan of yours forever.
He's asking for your autograph. Yeah. That's what they all do.
It's all they want. Yeah.
Michael, I got a hug with you at GDC last year.
That's right. Yep.
We're one up, okay? It's all good. It's all good. So, Michael, you had this idea that you said, look, the arcade sports world is bereft and we need some new titles out there. And back in the day, you worked at EA. Was the mutant sports genre your creation? And how stoned were you when you came up with that idea?
Actually, quite. And it's actually the best way to play Mutant Football League. I'm just telling you out there. Okay. It's a game that you...
Oh, we got a frozen. It's froze. Blake.
Games
okay.
Easy, quick to play, but are deep once you play them. Yeah, I mean, I pitched the idea to a producer who was a friend of mine at EA, Richard Robbins, and then he brought me in, and I then gave the pitch to what they called like their gauntlet at EA with Trip, and Trip liked it, and he gave us a small team and a little budget, and, you know, we went on to make Mutant League football, and, you know, 25 years later, the evolution of the game, it's kind of a hole in the marketplace for just kind of fun, arcadey sports games. And, you know, we figured we'd try to fill that void with Mutant Football League.
So how successful were the original I mean, you guys, I think you made a sequel to the original Mutant League Mutant. It gets confusing getting all this stuff. But you made a sequel to the first Mutant Football game, and then there was also hockey as well. So they must have made quite a bit of money.
So they did well, and it was a #1 bestseller, Mutant League football, and then it spawned a television show, and we had toys and all of that. And you know, Electronic Arts at that point had a critical decision, and they decided they wanted to be the finest sports simulation game company, and they went that route, and obviously Mutant League was like the bastard child. It didn't fit into that model.
I got totally screwed out of that, man. It went all sim, and I ended up working at a car wash, man. Fuck Sucks.
I mean, when you paint it in that picture, it totally makes sense. Tim, you weren't involved.
We are the insane garage band here, okay? We are like the total...
Minus the heroin.
Okay.
Yeah, none of that.
All beer, cheap beer, cigarettes.
But we self-funded the title, and we had, the money we had, and it wasn't a lot, and we built the game. We tried to have the game have really good production values, but I mean, we were literally recording stuff in a garage.
In a rock and roll basement, a rock and roll band basement.
I love it, and that's definitely indicative of the way a lot of games are getting made these days. And you know that, Michael. You've seen this at every end of the spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
Tim, I want to talk a little bit about your involvement with this title. Do you know, Michael? Do you guys go back? Is there,
No, oddly enough, we're both in Chicago, and we have a lot of the same circle of friends because it's a big gaming community with Midway and all the pinball companies, incredible technologies. But he just called me up out of the blue, and we're just about 20 minutes away from one another, met for coffee. And here it is, the 25th anniversary of NBA Jam and Mutant League football. So
Crazy.
What a thing to be like celebrating, the rebirth kind of in a way for both, and certainly for me to have a new arcade title. People weren't knocking down my door the last 20 years for arcade titles because, as you said, they kind of went the way the wrecking ball took care of them. But what's really interesting is the arcade phenomenon that's taken over the country. They're happening everywhere, all the cities. And I was just approached by incredible technologies talking about bringing back the retro arcade version of Jam. I'd love to see Mutant Football League in there. And if you think about when Blitz came out and Jam came out, there wasn't a whole lot of competition. Now you've got hundreds of titles, for console. So I think that we can stand out because no one's providing this fun parody of the NFL with this over-the-top crazy stuff. So
I agree completely. And the game has already been out. It came out last year in early access, I think, on PC, and it's now today on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Congratulations. That is not an easy thing to do, to ship across multiple platforms like that. I've had a chance to play it a little bit, and I was laughing my ass off at the commentary. You guys must have had, it must have been so ridiculously, there are no barriers, right? You could say whatever the hell you want. I murdered my kicker in the first game.
It's funny because we write the script, and then obviously we have the events, and we come in there with this fine sound plan, and then we start, and then this guy starts riffing off, and then it just goes where it goes, and I let him go. And he just, he is a genius in there behind the microphone. And that's where you get stuff that's so outrageous. It's just like you're at home playing and you hear it and you just go, what? And that's kind of like this spontaneous organic magic. And it just brings the game alive and gives it so much color.
Well, you think of NFL Blitz, they had to water it down the last version we did with EA Sports because the NFL, the violence, everything else.
Sure.
So imagine, though, the freedom for me and for Michael to say, basically, we're parodying the NFL, and no one can tell you what you can say and what you can't. And so in every game, of course, there's hundreds of kills. You can shoot the quarterback, bomb shading the shotgun formation, and he just pulls out a shotgun and shoots the defender's head off. There's a whole new meaning to the word shotgun formation, doesn't it? And by the way, that shotgun kill of the day brought to you by the folks at Speedy Kill Drive-Thru Funeral Services. That's right. When you have to get a loved one in the ground in a hurry and real cheap, drive-through Speedy Funeral Services. Get them in the bag, get them in the ground, get them out of the way.
That's awesome. Tim, what have you been doing since, like, we had, I was just looking through our video game archive, and this is totally, off topic here a little bit, but I was looking at, for a specific game that I couldn't find because we've got a huge amount of titles back there, but I noticed that there was like 50 bazillion copies of SingStar. Like when the video game industry finds something that's successful, they just drive it into the ground, it feels like. And it felt like we had so many action sports titles and arcadey sports games, and then they just evaporated. They're gone. So what have you been up to?
A DJ at a strip club for a while.
Okay.
And now up on stage, Exotica, boom shakalaka, and she's on fire. Come on, guys, get out those dollar bills. Rough time for me.
Have you been working
I
in the gaming space at all? I mean, you must be asked to do boom shakalaka everywhere you go.
Yeah, it's a nice calling card to have. It's certainly been very good to me. That was one of those accidents, happy accidents. One of the guys in the studio just happened to actually lean out his door. The studios were so small. He leaned out, and I'm about 20 feet down the hall, and John Hayes in there, and he goes, "Hey, tell Tim to say boom shakalaka." John goes, "Say boom shakalaka." I'm in the booth. I go, "Boom shakalaka." I had no idea what it meant. It was apparently he misunderstood Sly and the Family Stone singing boo shakalaka, boo. No M, and the rest is history.
That's amazing. How did you get started on that whole career path and working with Midway? And God, I miss Midway so much. I miss the wackiness of that studio. It was such an incredible company.
The long and the short of it is I was pursuing Second City, wanted to fast track to New York, Saturday Night Live, LA, whatever. In the meantime, picking up extra jobs, but on the weekend decided to still have fun playing drums. In high school, I was going to be a rock star, or I was going to be a movie star, right? What, you know, like every guy who was younger and pursuing acting. And then I played drums on the weekends. The guys in the band happened to work out at the pinball company at Williams, and they were looking for some voices to fill in for Gilligan's Island, and I happened to be able to go, "Oh, Gilligan, maybe we could bribe Kona. Lovey." And Mr. What's his name, started it all off there, Thurston Howell. And then I did Popeye and Twilight Zone, Attack from Mars. It just kept going. So for about 2 or 3 years, I'm doing 15 pinball games. Wow. John Hayes says, "Hey, we got this new video game called NBA Jam Mark Turmel is doing." And then across the street in the fancy studio, we're on the factory floor, the little shoebox offices. And he goes, "You want to do it?" And I was like, come on, you know, $50 an hour, you know, it's like a king's ransom for, you know, struggling actor at the time. Yep. So I had no idea what to expect. It was the first NBA licensed game. And of course it blew up, and I was more surprised than anybody because I had no idea what a successful game was. The sad thing is I learned a year later it made $1 billion in quarters. I made $900. Isn't that funny? Isn't that real funny? Give me another drink, please, sweetheart. Yeah,
so have you gone on then, you know, since there has been sort of a move away from a lot of these arcade sports things, have you gone and done some more acting? Are there other projects and things that we can see you in?
Well, the fun thing was that led to probably 5 different versions of basketball games, NBA Hoops, Showtime, Hang Time. I mean, they were just like squeezing everything they could out of it because as the titles would then go off to acclaim elsewhere, they hung on to it. I did Big Hurt Baseball, and then I started to work with EA doing NHL Hits, all those things. Right. And then the fun thing was coming back with EA redoing the Blitz. And I'll tell you, the EA Sports version of On Fire edition of NBA Jam is awesome. I know a lot of people haven't played the newer versions. But in the meantime, just TV and radio work as a voiceover actor. And so that's why this offer, you know, Mike and I joked about, like, we're 2 dinosaurs, like, out in the elephant graveyard. It's like, hey, you think they'll ever need us again? Sure, arcades are coming back. And you know what? The arcades are coming back. We're going to be the first title that's going to blow the roof off this thing. And everybody goes, oh, this is what a game was like. It's like almost sim games have turned into work. It's like going to work. You know, the whole idea of going to the arcade was like to blow off some steam, have fun, laugh, you know, have a ball. And so we're put the fun back in football, man.
Well, you know who else is in Chicago is Raw Thrills, which is headed up by Eugene Jarvis, which is, you know, another amazing ex-Midway guy. You guys should, do you guys want me to send an email to those folks and connect you guys?
Yeah, we've all known each other in one way or another, met at different conventions and everything else. And I was just at the Tacoma Pinball Arcade Show recently with the Ritchie brothers, you know, King of Pinball, Ed Boon, like Mark Turmel, all these guys in Chicago. This is like, you know, one time Rolling Stone said this was the rock and roll city, capital of the world, early 90s, Material Issue. It's the game rock and roll Star City. I mean, you talk about creators of Mortal Kombat, Jam, Mutant League Football, you know, the pinball. This is the center. And we were talking about doing a pinball video arcade museum and cafe restaurant, you know, with all of our artwork, all those great artists, you know, that have done the backboard art for all those things. The art is something that just never ceases to amaze me. And I'm sure you guys have pictures of the football league, the Mutant Football League art, but you know, these guys could be selling their wares and we could just be partying downtown in Chicago with all these superstars of the game industry.
Very cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about Mutant Football League now. Obviously, technology has improved a lot since the old Sega Genesis days when we first saw the mutant sports athletes out there. What have you guys packed into Mutant Football League to kind of appeal to modern gamers, Mike?
Well, I mean, it all starts with the art direction, right? So what we wanted to do was just get a nice mix between stylized realism with a touch of cartooniness to the characters. And then it's just all over the top, right? And when you play, the game's all about being unpredictable. So the game is at its most fun after a few drinks, playing with some buddies on the living room couch. I mean, that is what the game's designed for. You can play it online, but it's really like a party game because there's nothing more fun than watching your friend's face just contort as you take out his all-star quarterback in the final minute of the game, and then he's going to come back and do something terrible to you. And it's really a nasty game that way, but within all of that is a really solid football game with football tactics. So you've got the whole football strategy, but on top of that, you have your dirty tricks, which are your nasty plays. You can bribe the ref. You can pull out a chainsaw. Your guy can grow into a giant. It's just crazy, but you get to use these selectively. They're like tactical plays that you use, and you only get a couple per half. So when you use them, becomes a really big decision on top of trying to keep your guys alive and basic football tactics as well.
Awesome. So they're mutants, but I noticed there are robots in there and lizard people. What are the kinds of creations in the game?
So we have our mutant humans, superhumans, and then we have our orc character, your big bruising orcs. They're slower, but they're really tough. We've got our alien characters. They roll and they can jump really high, and if you kill them, you take damage because they spray toxic blood. Then we've got our undead skeleton dudes.
That's me, dude. That's me. I'm undead.
And then we've got our robot guys. This is Wham Neutron right here.
That's awesome. Are these prototypes that you're holding up right now? Are these potential figures or toys, or what's the plan with that?
Yeah, these are figurines that we've made for some of our Kickstarter backers, and they're really cool. And we have them in all kinds of different sizes. And we're going to be adding a demon species and a werewolf species.
Werewolves play big with the kids in that whole genre.
You did the focus test on that, did you?
Yeah, our community kind of decides, and it's a community-driven product.
Yeah.
So a lot of our development is based on what our community is asking for and what they want. And
that must have been such a cool thing for you, Michael, because this is a relatively new thing in video games where you actually sort of bring in the potential players to participate, and they tell you that they're not only excited for your thing, but they're going to put money down before it's made, and that must be really inspiring for you.
Yeah, well, they do more than that. I mean, they've helped compose music, they help write, they come up with player names, they come up with team names, Wow. They tell us what teams they want in the game next, what type of features. They let me know when they don't like something or if they think something's overpowered. And we have an awesome community, and it is a really great group of guys, and we have women there too. We've got fans from the original game. We've got new players who never even heard of the original game. And we just keep everybody involved, and we really listen to them. So on the PC game, when people go, hey, we want this, can you do this play? Or, this team's too overpowered, we'll adjust it based on their feedback.
Awesome. Well, I've got some community feedback and questions right now for you guys. I've got Finite Joy asking, can you ask Mike how they hooked up with Rob McCallum of Nintendo Quest fame?
Oh, yeah. So Rob was doing a documentary, and he had interviewed me for his documentary on gaming dinosaurs, and I was in there. I think I was the Stegosaurus or something. Anyways,
I think I'm going to be in one of those pretty soon.
Yeah, Rob and I hit it off, and when we had a game and we had a demo, but we were running out of money, I went on Kickstarter. And Rob told me that he had done several successful Kickstarter campaigns, and I asked him if he could come on board and help us with it. And he did. And we did, like, our Kickstarter campaign, we actually let people play the game, right? We didn't show the video. We put the game out there.
Yeah. You're used to shipping things, aren't you, Mike?
Oh, God, it was a crazy dice roll.
Yeah.
And we were all sweating. Rob's like, just do it. They'll love it. And I'm like, are you freaking crazy, man? But we did it. And then Rob's still helping. I mean, Rob helps to this day. I mean, and he's our launch trailer. If you've seen our launch trailer,
yeah,
that was a great collaboration between Rob and our art director at Digital Dreams, Andre Levitt. And, you know, Rob kind of started and we built the base, and then Andre kind of took over, but we're pretty happy with our launch video. It's kind of cool.
That's rad. I've got a great question, a sassy question from Warco A. Do the mutants kneel during the national anthem?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I got an answer to that. Actually, they were responding to Donald Trump's tweet the other day, and they go, not only are we going to take a knee, we're going to take your knee and your spine. You know, so they take more than a knee in the Mutant Football League. I'll take your whole head.
That's hilarious. Twister.
Actually, we play, as you know, we play up on everything, politics, what's going on in the NFL, and we will continue to do that.
That's awesome. Twisted Reverb, who may be from Canada, don't mean to generalize here or you know, create a stereotype, but it says, can we expect Mutant League hockey in the near future?
So we would love to.
But everything's
it would be Mutant Hockey League. Down to
moolah.
Yeah.
You know, we need this game to be successful. We put everything we had into this game, and if the game does well, we're going to continue building on it, continue creating features, and yes, we'd love to do other mutant type sports games.
That's amazing. Well, it's very cool to have you two together. So
everybody go buy the game, man.
And tell your friends, share the trailer video too. It's awesome. Well, I'm a skeleton in that as Grim Blitzrow for Mutant Football League.
That's amazing.
One of our biggest fan bases is actually the Grateful Dead fan base, because they had nowhere to go. They've been wandering like a herd of zombies, and they stumbled into the MFL. This dude here, I used to be in a band called the Ungrateful Undead, and man, I got into this league, and I am happy as a goddamn monkey and pig. I can't say that here.
Oh, you can. We're not on TV. It is awesome that you guys are together. I am so excited about this game. We're going to be playing it a little bit later in the show today, and we've been showing it off a little bit. But good luck with Mutant Football League, and I can't wait to see where this goes and the new sort of content you'll add to this. And yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a Mutant Hockey League too. That would be amazing.
Appreciate it, Victor. It's all about the fans. Just tell your friends and buy it. It's cheap. $19. You used to spend $100 on a Friday night at the arcades playing Jam.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to move from there to a new segment that we just launched this year for our 28th season. It's called This Day and Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for January 19th. January 19th, 1983 was an important day in the history of personal computing. Apple unveiled the long-in-development Apple Lisa, which was the first home computer with a graphic user interface, or GUI. Before that, computers relied on strictly text-based operating systems like DOS, but a GUI allows you to access programs much more easily by using icons and windows. The Apple Lisa itself wasn't a success, but GUI interfaces were a hit and helped make personal computing much more accessible and user-friendly. Speaking of revolutions in personal computing, on January 19th, 1999, Ontario-based company Research in Motion released the first Blackberry device, the Blackberry 850. It combined a traditional cell phone with a personal email device and could access not just cell phone networks but also wireless data networks. Demand exploded, especially in the business world, and ushered in a new era of smartphones that are essentially tiny computers that fit in your pocket. BlackBerry dominated the market for almost a decade, but dropped in popularity after Apple released the iPhone in 2007, which, like GUI interfaces almost 30 years earlier, made smartphones much more accessible and user-friendly. On this day in 2003, Sony published an open-world action-adventure called The Getaway on the PlayStation 2. Set in London and developed by London-based Soho Studios, the game delivered a fun and fresh authenticity that was easy to see was influenced by movies like Get Carter and Snatch. The story for the game is a revenge tale that focuses on one of our protagonists wreaking havoc on gang members that did him wrong, and the game also features another plot focusing on a detective and his pursuit to destroy a London gang that kills his partner. Anyone that had played Grand Theft Auto knew what to expect from the driving and shooting in The Getaway, and although it wasn't as polished as Rockstar's game, it was nonetheless stylish and fun. Welcome back from our This Day and Everything Cool. Lots of awesome things happen every single day, and we try to celebrate those. But today is a very big day, and the history books will tell that this is the day that Heel Kick came home. This is
finally.
It's available everywhere. And Danny Mac, you wrote this, you directed this,
yes,
and you star in it.
Yes.
Are there any other titles that you would like to claim?
I produced it, and I did some of the editing, and I helped with the artwork, but not very much. I probably made it more difficult on the artists.
Yes.
And a bunch of other honeypots I probably shouldn't have stuck my fingers into. Yeah.
You basically gave birth to this movie.
I did. It is my child. Yeah. It is my dumb, loud child that I love dearly.
I know a lot of our audience already knows this because they follow Greg Miller and Kind of Funny, and Greg's involved as a producer, and I've tweeted it out. We've done stories on this.
Yeah.
Cooper Bibeau, who used to work with Electric Playground,
that's right,
is your partner on this.
That's right,
producing partner and a writer and a co-star in the movie.
That's
as well.
right.
And we had you guys. I met you guys way back when you had
Love
Hate.
Yeah, probably 2010 or 2011.
Yeah,
that was our first movie that we made.
Movie. And every movie you make is going to have two. It's like a compound word.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
Is that the idea?
I'm really liking the two-syllable titles for movies. It's really easy to digest.
You're going to own that space, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So today is the day that it's available to buy on iTunes and anywhere else?
Yeah, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Vudu, Xbox, and PlayStation Network.
Good God, so it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Those other platforms are slowly trickling out through the day, but it's live on iTunes right now in over 22 countries.
How the hell does that feel?
It's crazy. I don't think I've processed it yet because it's about 4 years in the making, and it's just something that I'm so proud of, and we worked so hard on. And you know, like I woke up today and people were saying, "Hey, I watched it this morning," and it's just I just don't really know how to process it yet.
I mean, you can easily tell that this is the future for the way that people are going to take in all of this stuff.
I believe so.
I mean, I'm at the movies every week. I'm reviewing things all the time in theaters, and then I see a lot of the box, and we report on it, and you know, theaters are not happy. And,
unfortunately, yeah.
Juggernauts like Netflix are like really getting into this, and Apple's spending money on content creation now.
That's
like,
right.
We are just going to be streaming a lot of this, so you're about to be exposed to a whole bunch of other, and you're half naked in this movie for the whole thing.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Like
when I invited my niece to the screening, I also forgot about that.
You play a bumbling wrestler.
Yes, a backyard wrestler, more a wrestling fan than anything.
Right, yes.
He's delusional. He's about 30, lives in his mom's garage with his best friend, and they think they're going to be the next big thing in pro wrestling. The only problem is they've never actively done anything to try to accomplish that goal.
Right.
So this movie starts when his brother has had enough, and he says, "Look, I'm going to pay for your training just to see if you can do it. And if you can't, that's it. You got to get a real job and shut the hell up with all this nonsense." And so that is Heel Kick for you.
That is crazy. And so to do the movie, you obviously had to play the and get some real wrestling training.
Yeah.
You beefed up, you threw your body that's what really shocked me and impressed me the most when I saw it. It was just like the physicality was really nailed by you and
Chris plays Maurice Chris Wilcox plays the other backyard wrestler.
Yeah, Chris Wilcox.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, you guys kicked ass. You guys were both amazing.
Thank you very much. It was we trained with a real professional wrestling promotion for 6 months to do what we had to do in the movie because we were so worried that we would get injured. So we wanted to be as comfortable as an actual trained professional wrestler, especially for the last scene in the movie, which we wouldn't be able to cut on. It was in front of a live, real pro wrestling crowd, no extras.
Wow.
And we just didn't have the opportunity, we didn't have the resources to be able to get extras. We couldn't have cut it even if we wanted to. So we had to be good enough to perform in a live show that would impress actual wrestling fans. So 6 months of training and a little bit of hitting the gym and a lot of getting your ass kicked, and so there we were.
So have you kept that up? Are you still trying to do a little wrestling just for fun?
I haven't kept it up. I think
wrestle
about
with your girlfriend or whatever.
I don't. I mean, she could take me so easily. I'm just, this is the thing people don't tell you. When you work out and you stop working out, your muscles go away.
Right.
You don't get to just keep them forever. It's it's not a paycheck that you can just hide in the bank and do nothing with. So, I mean, yeah, I'm about 20 to 25 pounds lighter than I was in the movie. It's a lot of upkeep. It's a lot of protein shakes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shakes.
So that stuff works then.
It
actually does work.
It works.
If you work out and drink protein shakes.
The incentive was going to wrestling school and getting hurt so easily and being like, I'm going to get broken in half unless I put some weight on.
Sure.
And just asking all the guys, like, what should I do? And they're like, just consume calories and then lift weights.
Okay, well, so you made the movie, and then you had your premiere screenings in different cities. You're from Edmonton. You had an Edmonton screening. You had one here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
You had one through Kind of Funny connections in San Francisco.
That's right. We had a big Kind of Funny one at San Francisco before Kind of Funny Live 3.
Yeah.
We had one in Toronto, which was great, and Austin, Texas as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so how did the fans receive your work?
They really liked it. We've been very blessed to have good critical acclaim. Like all the critics have, given it fantastic reviews, but the fans really like it as well. And we were so curious what wrestling fans would think and non-wrestling fans would think. Because, after working on a movie for so long, you forget how people are going to interpret the tone, and you don't even know what's funny anymore. It's just you're too in your head about it. But non-wrestling fans said it was very educational, and you didn't need to know anything about pro wrestling to like it, which was one of our goals. And wrestling fans said it's their favorite wrestling movie
because it's got a lot of insider kind of
observations. But those will
just
you won't even notice them if you don't hear them.
Well, what I like the most about it, and I know you've been waiting for me to review this movie too. You
said that's right. Are you going to review it?
Well, I haven't. We launched EP Live this week, and it's been a little busy. It's been crazy.
You guys worked too hard.
We put a lot of stuff out there. I think we've done more in a week than we have in previous
I know.
months.
All those statistics about how much content is on YouTube, you guys are like 15% of it.
It's getting crazy. But I love the movie, and
Thank you.
It's hard to be impartial because I'm supporting of you guys, and I want you to succeed.
That's true.
But it really is a heartwarming story, and I was really impressed with the craftsmanship and the care that all of you put into your characters, and I think it is something that anybody that is in for a kind of a Spinal Tap or one of those Christopher Guest type experiences.
Right. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
They're going to have a good time with this.
I look forward to your unbiased review of the movie. A 6 out of 5, I believe.
Yeah, 6 out of 5. Exactly.
That's right. It'll do better than Chicken Run, I imagine. So that'll be good.
So now you got to sell this thing.
We got to sell it. That's right.
Right now you have it's being sold, and it's got some marketing and pre-order buzz.
That's right.
And I noticed that it was #1 on the pre-order thing last week or so, right?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Someone pointed out to me
above Star Wars and above Thor.
Above Star Wars,
right?
Yeah, it was nuts. Someone pointed out to me, hey, you're in the top 20 for pre-orders in North America, and then I started tweeting that out, and everyone said, hey, you're in the top 10 now. And then all of a sudden we were third. It was Star Wars Thor Heel Kick.
Yeah.
And like an hour after that, we took the top slot and we stayed there for 2 days until they removed us from the top slot because we went live and pre-orders were no longer available. It was crazy. It was nuts.
Amazing.
Yeah, to say I did one thing at least for 48 hours better than Star Wars, insane.
So has the sort of buzz around this and the the interviews that you've been doing in different places, are you starting to get some interesting phone calls from
I got an interesting phone call today. I can't really discuss it, but I woke up to a call from the other side of the coast, and that was potentially very interesting for the future of Heel Kick.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where some WWE superstars are talking about it. Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, I was chatting with him about the film in his hometown not too long ago.
Amazing.
And it's just a surprising amount of people from the wrestling world, big and small, have started to hear about it. And Yeah, I love being the movie that people say, finally we have a good wrestling movie. So
that's incredible. So have you already started work on something new, or is it still you're in the throes of getting this baby
I'm still
delivered?
sort of in vacation mode with this,
okay.
but I do have a couple of other projects ready to launch. I just don't know exactly which one to pull the trigger on.
It's got to have 2 words, though.
That's right. It's got to have 2 words, and that's the only prerequisite for my artistic integrity. But it depends. I'm really curious to see how Heel Kick will do.
Yeah.
And if people really like it, maybe something else very similar down the line, or maybe just a complete left turn and try something new. But I think this year is when I'm going to pull the trigger on something and maybe even hopefully go to camera by the end of the year to get another film out there.
Is there a genre that you look at? Because you've done sort of the comedic kind of space, different directions, but in sort of the comedy zone. Or do you want to stay in that direction, or would you prefer?
I think no matter what I do, there will be comedic elements to it.
Right.
I think in this movie, you see at least for one of the acts, there's a certain part that's just a little more heart wrenching, and we weren't afraid to give it a little bit of breathing room and not go full goofball for the entire time. But, I really like the tone of the film Get Out. I thought that was, while I wouldn't have nominated it for Best Comedy or Musical either, there was just great humor throughout, and it kept a consistent, creepy tone.
Yeah.
I really like stuff like that sort of bleeds together different genres, and that's why, I also like films by, like Wes Anderson pulls that off, and the Coens pull that off really well, where you'll be uneasy, but you'll be laughing.
There was a quirky movie that I saw last year called A Ghost Story, which was very weird. It was shot almost with a square kind of
I think I've heard of that.
frame, and Casey Affleck's in it as a ghost. And
he's a good actor.
He's good, but the movie was weird, but I could see, it didn't look like they spent a lot of money, but it had a power, it had an effect.
Right.
And both Johnny Millennium and myself, we reviewed it for Film Fury, walked out and went, oh my God, okay, we're still feeling this. And I have a feeling that you would be able to play in that sandbox.
I should jump in and check out that film.
Yes, it's worth checking out. It's not amazing, but it's definitely very clever.
Perhaps inspirational at the very least.
Perhaps inspirational. I'm definitely looking forward to finding out with Danny Mac. And I guess you're going to continue working with Cooper, or do you want to announce something now that you want to sever that?
Cooper, this is time for us to have a professional divorce. I hate to break it to you this way, but I'm just not that into you, buddy. I'm kidding.
So you guys will come up with something new, and I can't wait
We certainly will. We have a video game that's in the not-too-distant future coming out. So
we'll have you guys back for that.
That'd be amazing.
We'll have to figure out how to get 3 people on this show, but we will do it. Danny, thank you, brother.
Thanks,
congratulations. Vic. That's awesome. You guys can go out and watch Heel Kick. You got to buy it though. You got to buy it on one of the enormous amount of digital shops.
A plethora of platforms,
which is great. And coming to Netflix too. Is that something that might happen? Or?
If a film does well enough digitally, the streaming services do come a knocking. So if this is something that you'd like to see up there with the big guys, be sure to show your support and grab a copy of the film.
That's amazing, man. Are you into sticking around and playing some?
Yes.
Mutant Football League with me. That's great. I have 2 controllers. But before we do that, we've got to take a look at a buried treasure. All right, stop me if you've heard me talk about this game before, but I'm going to tell you a story about Sled Storm, which was out for the PlayStation 1, and they made a Sled Storm game for the PlayStation 2 as well under the EA Sports Big moniker or brand. Remember that brand? They made some incredible games. Sled Storm is a snowmobile racing experience. The PlayStation 1 was akin to something like Road Rash, but you were on snowmobiles, and you would careen down mountains, and it would be just incredibly dangerous and fun, and you could jostle with the riders beside you. 6 different characters to begin with. That came out way back in 1999 for the PS1, and it was pretty damn enjoyable. I remember having a big smile on my face, constantly surprised at the energetic kind of goofiness, but the accessibility. I really have always had a fondness for racers that did things a little bit different. It wasn't just racing around a track, and Sled Storm absolutely delivered that. Sled Storm on the PlayStation 2 was a little bit more of an SSX clone, which is fine by me because I love the SSX games. Obviously, they had more horsepower, so the graphics were cooler and you could do aerial tricks, and it was more kind of stunty, but still super fun. And we haven't really gone back to snowmobile racers since Sled Storm, so that's why I would say that either the PS1 version of Sled Storm or the PS2 version definitely qualifies as terrific buried treasures. So go check them out. I think we just kind of spoiled the surprise there. But we're going to be running some of our Film Fury reviews on Fridays because these movies come out on Friday. But make sure you go out and dig up a copy of Sled Storm. Super cool game. But right now, let's take a look at Johnny and I reviewing Den of Thieves. Hey, welcome to Film Fury. I'm Victor Lucas, and this is Johnny Millennium. He is back.
I'm back. I've been really sick for about 12 days with bronchitis, and I was really sick watching this movie.
Oh, yes.
What a return.
We saw Den of Thieves. It's another January movie. It stars Gerard Butler, Pablo Schreiber, 50 Cent, and O'Shea Jackson Jr., this is a crime caper movie.
It certainly is.
It's sort of in the vein of Michael Mann's Heat.
Right. And it also kind of reminded me of Logan Lucky. There's a bit of a heist in the movie.
Yep.
There's kind of over the top and ridiculous. Let's talk about our main actor here. This is what we need to talk about the most. Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Somebody who I absolutely love. Phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
300 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Brilliant stuff. The guy can act.
Yeah.
As you like to say, he's got acting chops.
He's great. He's really got acting chops, and you can see it. I mean, he's got that big open face, and when he has an emotional moment, he's not afraid to let his eyes water and tear up, and there's a couple pieces in there where he's talking to family members that hit home. But I think this movie could serve as a kind of a call for help, like a
cry for help.
Yeah, like career guidance, please help me find some good roles.
You know, I was also tripping out in this movie. I was watching him, and I'm like, is that Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
I was really, he's starting to look like Russell Crowe as he's getting older.
Yeah.
And he loves showing off his muscles in this. Always showing his arms.
Yeah.
He's like, like coming into the room, like
he earned
questioning
them in
people.
300. He's got to show that he's packing the heat still.
This guy is a top level actor. He's up here.
Yeah.
And this movie is down below. You can't even see it. How down below this movie is.
It's weird because, 50 Cent kind of stands out because we see him all over the place, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. did a pretty good job in the NWA movie as Ice Cube. And it sort of looks like Ice Cube Jr. is in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's pretty solid in this movie.
He's okay, yeah.
But most of the other actors, including the main sort of bad guy, Pablo Schreiber, they aren't very recognizable. I'm sure they've got lots of credits to their names, but they don't stand out as actors that we're really familiar with.
No.
So it's weird to see Gerard Butler and a lot of not famous people.
Yeah, I can't say this guy is good.
Yes.
But I don't know, the movie brought him down, didn't it? It brought it down to that kind of level. And we got to talk about it, is that this movie starts off with an action sequence, and I'm like, oh my God, this might be like one of those surprise January movies.
Yes.
You don't expect it to be this good, and it's not, and you're, oh, God damn it.
Well, it's unbelievably long,
and
bloated, and full of itself. I do think, though, that the action scenes are pretty cool because
yes, they're very good. The action scenes,
the gunfight scenes, definitely evocative of what Michael Mann has done many times before, but especially in movies like Heat. And I couldn't help but think that what could Michael Mann do with all this modern technology? A lot of it just looks lovely. It's obviously really state of the art digital cameras that look like film. And Michael Mann famously went to some video formats and started to shoot away from film to get into digital video with things like Collateral and stuff. And he didn't have the drones. He had helicopters and things at his disposal, but he didn't have these really affordable, awesome digital technologies that filmmakers have today.
Right.
And this movie benefits from that. There's some great shots of following trucks and cars, and then we dip down and we're right behind the vehicle, and so it's cool.
So the action is really good.
Yeah.
But you have to sit through some long periods of boring talking and plot devices that are so lame.
And characters that don't register a blip, and they don't feel real.
Can we talk about something really stupid here?
Yeah.
Like the main bad guy lets Gerard Butler sleep with his girlfriend just to let him know that I'm watching you.
Yes.
And it's kind of awkward and weird. And then all of a sudden, here's the big thing about the movie that really bothers me the most. It'll just do establishing shots and go evening.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have a nice drone shot. You have a little bunch of stuff going on. Then I'll go, Minnesota or something. And then I'll say back alley at 10 o'clock at night. And it keeps doing that. These little writing bits. There's like 25 of them in the movie.
And they're not.
they're sort of haphazardly placed on the frame to be edgy,
and
but
it cuts up the movie.
Yes.
The movie is already fragmented. It feels like about 4 or 5 different movies they're trying to assemble into one. This movie is 2 hours long.
More than that.
It's a bit more than that. They needed 45 minutes removed.
Absolutely.
I could re-edit this movie and make it really exciting and really fun.
Well, it's got problems right off the start where we're introduced to the head thief, and his name is Merryman. And like, you don't name a thief where you start immediately thinking about Robin Hood. Like, you just don't put that proximity.
It's a writer's thing. They're loving writing that,
unless you're like so brilliant in your way that you're sort of, you know, poking fun or making light of a dire situation, because honestly, this is an incredibly violent film. And
it's not too bad, though.
Well, not in terms of grotesque stuff that we see, but the bullets fly throughout this thing. Like, these guys are packing machine guns that's
heavy stuff.
Right, and you know, cars are getting shot up and people are getting killed, and it's loud as hell, this movie, especially for something we see in the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's kind of brutal, but it doesn't pack any kind of an emotional punch because we don't really care about these characters. We don't really get to know them that much. Gerard Butler is playing a grizzled,
a kind of shady cop.
Yes.
You know, he's kind of like the bad guy of cops, and his entire unit are bad guys.
Yes.
They'll capture guys and torture them, kind of thing.
You just described The Shield, and this is not anywhere near as good as Vic Mackey and that gang and that crew. And you know, it's unfortunate because you can point to all of the homages and all of the things that Christopher Guidon, who wrote and directed this thing, clearly has a penchant and a desire to sort of play in that playing field, but it's nowhere near. And you know, you can crib and you can borrow ideas, but you got to also deliver something fresh and new. And unfortunately, this doesn't at all.
No, it's the same thing. And I like. How many times last year I remember we'd watch movies and it get to the end, you're like, okay, finally. I was like looking at Vic, I'm like, thank God it's over. And it keeps on going, and it keeps on going. And there's a twist at the end that is so bad and so dumb. I was like, you're trying to, this is the twist? Come on.
Yes.
The twist for me is that I had to sit and watch this movie for as long as I had to.
Yeah, a little Usual Suspects kind of borrowing in there at the end.
So lame.
I didn't mind the heist stuff.
It was so... Okay.
It was over the top and silly, but then they kind of explain it with their unnecessary extra little end bit at the end. You know, the sort of plot devices that you're going, well, how would they know how, you know, they
so
explain
many things
that
could
a little
go
bit.
wrong.
But they explain it.
Yeah.
I
still don't buy it.
I didn't buy it, and it doesn't work because the movie in totality doesn't really work. But I thought it was effectively made. Like the shot selection, the beads of sweat on the brows.
The directing is good.
It was like, okay,
that's fine,
I was starting to feel the tension, even though I didn't believe in any of this horseshit.
Yeah, and I felt tension as well.
Yeah.
But it was so preposterous and so over the top. Kind of like Logan Lucky, but Logan Lucky was a bit more fun and tongue-in-cheek.
Probably more, I still haven't seen that movie. You reviewed that one a lot. But it's probably, I would imagine Steven Soderbergh is an accomplished guy, a little bit more intelligent than this movie.
The directing of the heist is fine.
Yeah.
The heist is so ridiculously insane that I kept watching and going, there's so many ways for this to absolutely go wrong with human error.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, is that this director and this writer really wanted to capture the scenes of action and sort of give us character beats and moments through that action, but it is when in the quieter moments where this thing just falls apart and you just don't give a shit about any of these people.
Oh my God.
Right?
Just like Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
You know, he has this entire subplot that doesn't really go anywhere, that shows that he's a rotten father, a terrible husband, and then he's crying in a car and you're like, I'm not buying it.
And the movie's got no time for that. We got to get some guns out.
We ain't got no time for that.
We got to get the arm guns out, and everybody's got to flex and
smoke and smoke and drink.
Oh, and
all
Gerard
the time.
Butler is eating and smoking. He's disgusting in this movie.
He's what I used to be, eating and smoking. I remember I'd be eating soup. I'd be smoking a cigarette. I'm like, man, I'm Gerard Butler. What the hell's going on?
Why aren't you shooting?
I should have
I'm
shot
at my
all
best
that.
right now. You should shoot all
I should have had a heist into the soup factory, and it would have been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, this is forgettable. We're not going to be talking about Den of Thieves beyond.
Never
I think after this moment right now, after we rescore it, what are you going to give Den of Thieves?
Geez, this is a tough one. I'm going to give it a 5.5.
Yeah, it gets a 5.5 from me as well. So there you go. You can judge for yourself if Den of Thieves is something that you want to go see. I say save your money.
a heel kick instead. Danny has said that he is, well, first of all, as we were watching that review, he informed me that O'Shea Jackson Jr. is actually Ice Cube's son. I had no idea that
That's
he was
the
his
junior.
Son. Okay. I didn't know O'Shea Jackson was Ice Cube. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. So I don't know if that came across in the review or not, but you learn something new every day.
How do you like that?
Especially when you're making live, almost television. But Danny said that he's going to join me to play some Mutant Football League, so we're going to play that. But you guys know the drill if you've been watching for the last few days. We are calling this Let's Play and Chat. That means the chat is wide open. Blake is watching all of the comments out there. If you've got a question or a comment, you can ask Danny anything you want. You can go to just go all caps on the comment or question, makes it easier to see. But let's play a little Mutant Football League.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So 15 minutes. Boom. We're going to go to play now.
Okie dokie.
I don't think we should spend time choosing teams. I think we should just go.
Fair enough. Head to head, right?
Head to head, yeah. I'll be the Blitzburg Steelheads.
Then I will be Deadlanta Vultures.
All right, let's do this. Okay. Now we're going to start game. And it loses a little something. We can't hear Tim and all that stuff because it's all patched into the streaming.
That guy's voice, man.
Isn't that crazy? We had the voice of NBA Jam on the show.
From downtown!
Amazing. Yeah, dude, I was so happy. The PR team that was working on the game reached out and said, you know, we have Tim that's available to do some... Yeah, I would love to have that guy on the show. Iconic, absolutely.
Even people who don't game know that, like,
yeah.
He's on fire, all that. Oh, man.
Yeah, Tim casually mentioned that he had just been at a Clippers game, but he was, like, announcing, and he was, like, celebrating with all of the 18,000 Clippers.
So cool.
So cool. All right, so we've got crazy orcs and skeletons going head-to-head. We don't know any of the mechanics, really. I mean,
we're going to suck.
We're going to suck, but Michael and Tim both said that we didn't really need to know how to play any of this stuff. It was just going to be pick up and play fun. Let's put this to the test. I think oh, you're kicking off.
Okay. I'm kicking off.
So hold down the A button to kick and then let go.
Copy
when
that.
It goes up, there you go. Boom. All right. And so it has a very Blitz-type feel to it. And I did learn that I have a little dodge move with the right thumbstick.
Oh, okay.
That's all I know. And then you can keep thrashing on the characters with, I think, the X button.
Perfect.
This is running on the Xbox One X, by the way. It doesn't have the 1080p or the Ultra HD stuff on it. It's just a 1080p game. And we're only playing it on a 1080p television. But it still looks pretty good.
Oh, no.
Did I take too long?
I think that was me.
Oh, yeah? Oh, you've crossed the line?
I crossed the line. It was bound to happen. I was going to cross a line on this show.
Awesome. That's hilarious. Okay, here we go. Boom. Oh, right into traffic. Oh, nice deflection, though. That was good.
And you can keep thrashing. I like that. I like the continued violence aspect.
Absolutely, man. Did you ever play NFL Blitz?
I loved NFL Blitz, and I was a huge NBA Jam fan. I'm all about the sports arcade games, not the sports sims. So.
I told Michael this, but
no!
Yeah, baby.
Thank you, Slide Dog.
I went through the slime there too. I still got the touchdown.
Toying with me at the end.
All right.
But you raised a good point. Like, where did they go?
Where did they go?
Arcade sports games go?
Well, the video game industry, seriously, it was an epiphany. I was looking for a buried treasure game, so I was going to record it, and I was having the toughest time. We've got a huge archive of games. We've never given any of them away or sold them. So we've got all of these games for years and years. And I honestly stumbled upon a cache of SingStar games. Oh. Yes, 2-point conversion. And I couldn't believe how many SingStar games there were. And now SingStar totally dead, gone. Nobody makes SingStar games. But that
was a hot rush with those games.
Right, and we've seen that happen with Tony Hawk and Tomb Raider. And
even the Guitar Hero Rock Band. And
the business needs to learn how to pace themselves a little bit, you know? Take a page from Nintendo's playbook where they make like one game per console generation, and they do it right.
They do.
Of a franchise.
That's
Farty
right.
Burns and Brack Steel.
What was your favorite game of last year?
Zelda.
Zelda?
Yeah.
Was Mario in the top 3?
Yeah, Mario was number 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think Mario would... well, I've only put a single 8-hour session into Zelda because I like to really give it the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
So unless I have like a day, I don't really like to play it. I really want to be able to get lost in Hyrule and get lost in that world. But Mario... Yeah,
you can just
pick
pick
up,
all
I did for a while.
You can bite-size that game.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So you got a Switch, and have you been traveling with it?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Oh, it's saved me on plane rides.
Pretty incredible machine.
Yeah,
huh?
it's been so great.
Yeah, we just reported today it's the fastest-selling console of all time. Like
that's
it's
incredible.
Outpacing the
Wii, and
yeah.
that's nuts.
It's incredible, right?
Just you don't think it's even possible, right?
Yeah. Well, there was, like, again, tons of skepticism.
Oh.
And it's just a great concept.
Yeah.
But this game, like talking about the Switch, this is exactly the kind of, and I told Michael this they have to get this game on the Switch.
This would do so well on there.
Yeah. You pass the Joy-Con controller to somebody. And Right?
I didn't even think of that mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an elegant little system, and it's like whereas the Wii U looked not so cool in your house. Oh my God, that sack!
The punishing robot sack.
No kidding.
I love it.
But yeah, it just looks cool. I'm not ashamed to have it displayed in my house. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an elegance about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ashamed to have it.
Yeah, that's right. I'll have guests over and not put it away.
Does your girlfriend play games with you? Does
she does not. No, okay. She does not. She's a screenwriter though, and she's writing a couple scripts based around the video game industry. So she's always asking me questions like, "Does this sentence actually make sense?"
Oh, hilarious!
Yeah.
She could be doing the video game Widow movie, which I think would be very huge. Oh, I have the goddamn ball.
Oh, I was like...
Oh, you weren't even saying anything. Thank you, Danny. I know how you played out.
How did you get through me after all that?
I don't know. I must be really
so
good.
Ashamed of myself and embarrassed.
I got a first down.
We can edit this out, right?
Yeah, that's right. This isn't
thing?
live. No one's watching. It's good. No one's watching.
Oh,
me
crap.
Kick your ass. 8-0. Here
Can't
we go.
believe it.
All right. I almost said my play. I know you would have used that against me.
I definitely would have. You know me.
Oh my goodness! Almost intercepted. Almost. Whew. Trying to do my Tim Kitzrow. It's not coming.
It's
not happening.
It's working. Yeah. You got a good voice. But that Tim voice, can't beat it.
People are asking about the weather effects in the game.
Does it make a difference? Yeah. I have no idea. I mean, I haven't played this enough to be able to talk about the game or like speak to the strategies or anything like that in here, but
it appears to be cool. Acid rain.
Yeah, there are acid puddles and things like that you can. Yeah, it's all green as well. So yes, it does affect.
Oh!
Son of a bitch! No!
Totally redeemed myself.
That was Brick Sleazy that got the interception.
Brick Sleazy.
These guys had a good time with this.
See him in a box of Wheaties.
I wonder if the toys and all that stuff are I mean, it sounds like they got the Kickstarter backers got something, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And you didn't do any Kickstarter or anything like that for yours?
We had to do a GoFundMe campaign at one point because we just got bone dry.
Yeah.
We shot the movie knowing that we didn't have enough money to complete it in editing.
Right.
So, we had to do a GoFundMe, and we were able to raise about $12,000 in a couple weeks. So
that's awesome.
It was really helpful, yeah.
That's awesome.
And a lot of people contributed, so they saved our ass. That's for sure.
You got lots of family and friends out there that are all in on this.
There's some good people.
Now, did you do it as like investors, or is it was just charity? It was just them helping.
We did angel investors, so just people, friends and family, friends of friends and family, and. Just people, acquaintances, but...
That's cool.
But
they're all in the credits, and
they're all in the credits, and they're
great.
very proud to be involved in the movie.
Look at that. Awesome. It's almost as much fun to be on defense as it
I know, because
right?
you get to do more damage.
Yeah.
Do I even know how to throw a pass in this game?
Well, it's just like it's the XAB.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Because I keep just trying to run for it every time, and I don't think you're having any of that.
It is fun being on defense.
Oh, nobody home. Nobody way home. But yeah, I think...
Heron321 just had an awesome comment. I kind of don't know what's going on with this channel anymore. I've just seen a lot of videos in the last few days, so I'm happy. It does end up being like 7 or 8 videos once we edit out the content that we're making in EP Live. We appreciate you sticking with us as we figure this out. We're doing this to kind of mix all of the disciplines that we have, you know? Trying to be smart with our time.
It's a learning curve, right?
It is a learning curve.
I love it. I love the setup.
It's really fun to kind of mix it up and have people in the studio and have people on Skype and also go out in the field and shoot some things and quickly put them together for running in the show, and then get comments like, "Is this thing live? Or is this recorded?
Is this live?" We cut to you with shorter hair, a different part of the city.
And wait till we start throwing in the classic content as well. Ah! Oh, that was. Look at those spiky pads on that thing.
It was a big hit. Felt good.
Yes.
Yeah, this feels pretty intuitive. That's the big thing about all those sports arcade games, was that you didn't have to get bogged down in the controls or.
Oh, what is this? We have a mini game.
Oh my god.
They don't even. Oh, this is like a. Is this you?
Oh.
Is it?
Okay, I think I blowed up.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wait a second. So is it like? How do I shoot? Oh, okay, A button. It's a little like Robotron here. This is great. Totally cool, man. They didn't even tell me about this. There's like mini games with shotguns and
They're
stuff.
hiding the goods from you.
Wow.
10-second warning. You're almost there.
I wish it was a.
Don't mind us. We're just
a full dual stick shooter thing.
I like how I'm slowly just controlling.
Oh, you were controlling the other guys to come and get me? That's hilarious.
I think that was my undead army.
That's
coming
incredible. That was totally cool. I like that. I was not expecting that. Okay, so we're kicking off. Here we go. Boom.
Yeah, that landing.
This
Oh
is
my
pretty
god.
damn fun, man. I'm impressed. So we'll have you back every day, and we'll play Mutant Football League.
Right. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Oh, you picked it up again.
I did. Thank God.
I was looking the other way.
Whew.
All right. Any other comments or questions, Blake? Is this thing live?
Is this live? Is this live?
Are those guys live? Are they living?
Is this real life?
Is this real life?
Is it gonna be like this forever?
that totally applies to Electric Playground. Is this real life?
Everybody wants there to be a hockey.
Yeah.
A hockey
Everybody
game
wants
would be
to
so
be a hockey
good.
game. I think we put that on with Michael and Tim today. I think we stated our case as Canadians that love hockey. I would love a mutant basketball game.
That's a sack.
I mean, imagine if they made the NBA Jam with this game.
I know, that'd be cool.
Right? It's funny when you hear Tim announcing this game. He says MFL so much, and it sounds so much like NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's going to be any heat, or if they. I mean, it's clearly a parody, but I wonder if there's going to be any stuff that comes back there.
That would almost do them a benefit if the NFL were to get that pissy over it. Oh!
Very nice. Get him, punch. Oh, I guess I can kill you the more I hit you. Those were hit points coming off. This is cool. I like it.
So much violence. There's going to be a lot of concussions.
Yeah, a lot of concussions in this.
Will Smith will have to do another movie.
You die. Your characters die in the game.
Oh boy, this is not good.
Oh.
You know, like when you know you made a mistake.
Oh yes.
10 seconds before the mistake
When you're
happens.
watching it happen,
yeah.
I'm sure that happens in slow-mo when the players are on the field too. It's like,
Oh yeah.
And they know before that interception happens.
Like 5 seconds left in the period, and they're like, ugh.
Oh shit. I thought it was on defense. Still getting this, guys. All right.
We're warming up.
All right. Do a little hurry-up offense. Okay, here we go. You guys can let us know if you're watching this in the archive or in the chat today, who you would like to see on EP Live. If you've got any ideas for games you'd like us to cover, people you'd like us to interview, just let us know. And we'll welcome your ideas and we know a few people out there. Might be able to get some good guests that surprise us all. Uh-oh.
Oh, no!
What were you dancing? Oh, it's another touchdown.
He made it anyway!
Another touchdown. Another touchdown. Yeah!
Can't believe this!
This is amazing. I'm liking this game a lot more.
Isn't that funny how the better you do?
Yes. All right, what do we got here? I've got dirty tricks, but I don't know.
They're going for 2 points.
Oh, that was good. Good sack.
A sacking.
Good sack.
A brisk sacking.
Yes. The Sega original is a classic along with Mutant League Hockey. Yeah, Pocket. This is not a redo of the original, though. They had to kind of they had to work with EA to make sure that they were cool with these guys doing this. But they made a whole entire new thing here. It's called Mutant Football League, and it's out today on the consoles, and it's been out on the PC for a bit. Boom.
Oh.
I think we have
Bit of a xenomorph.
One more play, and then our alarm's going off here.
Okay.
All right.
We'll make it count.
There's the alarm. There it is.
Was that our last play, or we get one more?
I'm going to do one more.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Blow some minds, Vic.
Okay. This is your chance.
Oh, it's
man.
my chance.
Yeah, get it.
To redeem myself.
Look at that.
Why did I do that?
I was doing a rotation spiral thing. That's super cool. Well, that's it. That was our Let's Play and Chat and our episode for January 19th, 2018. We will see you guys on Monday, but we've got some cool content coming up on the weekend. Classic episode of EP. Season 3, episode 8 or 7 or 8 is tomorrow.
What year would have that been?
That's 1999. It's crazy.
I was watching.
And we have also This Day and Everything Cool runs every single day of the year. So we'll have those two on Saturday. And on Monday, we'll be back with another EP Live. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Danny, thank you so much.
Thanks, Vic. So great to be here.
Good luck with Heel Kick. And
Thank you
guys
very much.
Check that movie out in a million different ways. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Check out our content. And if you dig it, hit subscribe, that little bell. And if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too. Peace.